You unlock this door with a key of imagination. Beyond is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadows and substances, of things and ideas. No, this is not the Twilight Zone. This is. Dude, what a dude, family. It's your boy TW back at it again with another one. Yes, we are most definitely uncensored. We got some things going on. We got some things going on. Talk to me nicely. Best believe I talk back. It's like I always say, wouldn't be news and or content if we ain't had some things going on. Now, would it be? Listen, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel. And most definitely, leave me a comment. Like I said, talk to me nicely. Best believe I'll talk back. Now, let's get to this content, shall we? As you can see, the puppet master, Anton the puppet master Daniels. And you know, when you see the puppet master, who's with him? The puppets, of course. And who is the main puppet? Oshay Simp Jackson. That's right, family. Oshay Simp Jackson. I'm not going to hold you. I'm really starting to believe, family, that the Oshay Simp Jackson channel is being run by no other than the puppet master himself. And I'm going to explain to you, family, because it dawned on me when I see Oshay Simp Jackson and his rhetoric come across my feed. And then when you look it up, you know whose rhetoric it's intertwined with? That's right, the puppet master himself. Mm, mm, mm. So I started to wonder to myself, why is Oshay Simp Jackson rhetoric intertwined with the puppet masters, but nobody else's? That's kind of weird. So you know what I did, family? I did a little investigation. You know why? I told you.
What this show is about who is our friend and who is our...
With that said, you might say, well, how do you look at them, TW? And honestly, I can't tell a lie. I'm starting to look at them for what they are. The puppet master and the puppet. I'm starting to believe it might be internet foes. Honestly. You know why, people? I don't like when you have a good channel and you can do some really great things, but you use it to hurt, maim, and destroy. Just like the same people you talk about. Oshay, Simp Jackson. Oh, yes, I figured it out. Oh, yes. You see, what he did was, I believe he put the Oshay Simp Jackson channel in the hands of the puppet master. He makes the content and the puppet master puts it out. While Oshay Simp Jackson runs the Celebrity Junk channel. Oh, yeah, that's what I believe. You know why I believe this is true, family? Because the puppet master doesn't have anybody he can use to go after people. He needs to be squeaky clean. Hence, he's the puppet master. Check him out. Me and the Newsy gang, we're here for it. And we're not going to let neither one of them get away with it. You know why? Because this is our job. This is what we believe in. Taking these weenie eaters down. Oh, yeah, I said it again, just like in my last video. These weenie eaters right here. The puppet master himself and Oshay, Simp Jackson, have to be stopped. Just like Oshay, Simp Jackson feels certain conservatives need to be stopped. Brandon Tatum, Myron Gaines, Candace Owens, etc., etc. He has to now realize we look at you now just like one of them, Oshay. Oh, yeah. And must be stopped. We got to clip them wings. Nope, he ain't got wings. He's a puppet. We got to clip them strings. From the puppet master. Oh, we got to take both of you turkeys down, you weenie eaters. But I'm not going to do too much more talking. I'm going to get into this video, and we're going to get into seeing why these weenie eaters need to be taken down. Let's continue.
On July 30th, 2025, popular YouTuber and former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas was arrested in Los Angeles in connection with a federal indictment alleging he ran an illegal high-stakes poker gambling business. And the bad thing about it was inside of a home that he was renting.
Damn.
And inside of this illegal poker place was a name, Gil's Arena. And then Gilbert Arenas would somehow find his way onto YouTube. But he wasn't coming onto YouTube to make content. He was actually on YouTube beefing with Kwame Brown.
Cell phone. I didn't know nothing about like webcam, StreamYard. I had to learn all of that because I only came to YouTube because I was beefing with him. So when I came up with the show idea of like ESPN style, because I'm learning as I go. So I have this channel. I know.
Real quick, family. Remember, just like in my last video, if you didn't see my last video, you need to go check it out. So I'm going to say, just like in my last video, pay attention to the storyline, family, in which Oshay, Simp Jackson is going with. The narrative he himself is running. Let's continue. Yes, we shall. Let's go.
Bars, they got all the smoke, right? But they're on Showtime, so they have infrastructure.
Now, this is actually true. I mean, Gilbert Arenas was just on here, like going back and forth, roasting people. I mean, he's a very, very funny. In fact, he's like hella funny. He's probably the funniest athlete that's on YouTube.
No matter how you look, if you go to the club, you point out 10 bad ones. You use the same line on all 10. Just to be like, hey, you want to fun? One will say, that was bold, and give you a number.
Got him! But if you're going to be on YouTube talking trash all day, and if you're Gilbert Arenas, you might as well go ahead and make some money. And that's exactly what he did. Gilbert Arenas, along with some other people, Gil's Arena has a few ex-NBA greats, such as Brandon Jennings, Rashad McCants. You'll see Nick Young on there, and many others, but also Kenyon Martin Sr., right? And that's important to note, because at a certain point...
Something, family, that I'm really pinpointing here real quick. Being that Gil's Arenas got knocked off such a while ago, is it kind of strange that now all of a sudden there's indictments dropping throughout the NBA for what? Illegal gambling? I'm just saying. I'm not saying Gilbert Arenas, dropped the dime on somebody, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is this. Being this is brought to the light, and this happened to Gil's Arenas before the actual NBA and the mob scenario came out, you don't find it kind of strange that all of a sudden all these people are going down? Not just a little bit. Okay, I was just saying. Let's continue though with the rhetoric.
With this podcast, going viral and being very good, it ended up getting bought out. And basically, I believe like Gilbert Arenas sold the podcast for like 50% to a betting company. And he explains why.
The reason I gave up equity is because, so I used to do this in the weed. So I started in the weed game, right? I was I was the landlord. What I would do is I will have one of these growers come in, right?
Wow.
They build the infrastructure, they build the system, right?
Mm-hmm.
They build these elaborate systems. I let them get 2 crops in, and then I kick them out. Now I have the infrastructure, and then I take over the business. That was the same concept here. Let them come in here, build the studio, build all the equipment, do everything that's here. We got 2 years. Once it's over with, I got the infrastructure.
The show was sold to Underdog Fantasy. And what Gilbert Arenas is explaining is, listen, I'm selling it for 50% for now. And, I'm going to let them do all the production and build the business. And then after which, I'll reclaim the show again. Now, he is online with very popular people. He's online with Kwame Brown, an ex-enemy and ex-teammate of his. And then there's Anton Daniels, who is no stranger to controversy himself. And so Anton Daniels can't understand why Gilbert Arenas would actually sell a show that is so profitable and that is so great. And he says this.
On the live stream, you said that when you got arrested, that's when they took the name from you because your name was no longer good in their eyes when it comes to promoting the product and being aligned with the brand.
Yes, that's what I said.
My expectation of you is higher because I don't look at you. I know you a contributor on the show, but I'm going to just be honest with you. I don't look at you in the same vein that I look at the rest of the niggas that's on the show. Because you the brain, right? You the brain. Without you, none of them other niggas exist in my mind. There's plenty of niggas that start a basketball podcast that ain't popping at all. That shit is trash.
Family, real quick. That's the same kind of talk got him in the trouble he's in right now with Charleston White. Talking like that about people when you ain't got no business talking like that. But anyway, remember the storyline, people. Let's continue.
Let's just keep it on.
Woo! Now notice after Anton Daniels, talks about this, Gilbert Arenas is not trying to disagree with him. He's not saying anything about the people on the show. He's not trying to defend the people on the show. He's just basically saying, listen, yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying, because largely he's indifferent, meaning that he's not coming to the defense of anybody on his show. And this is interesting. And I do understand where Anton Daniels is coming from because, yes, a lot of the basketball podcasts do flop. A lot of YouTube channels.
That's not why you understand where Anton is coming from, you lying bootlicker. You understand where he's coming from because you're a weenie eater, you bootlicking liar. That's why you understand where he's coming from.
And podcast flop in general, regardless of the person's experience, because just because you're good, at basketball and you are a person that, was on the team and on the roster, it doesn't mean that you can understand how to adjust to the day-to-day life of being on YouTube or being a content creator. But Kenyon Martin did not take kindly of those criticisms at all. And he addressed Anton Daniels directly.
Yeah, he just y'all chatting and this, that, and the third, and we just kept straight, on there calling nobodies and shit like that, bro. Nah, that ain't more than a nobody. He was praising you for being who you are, and in the same breath, gonna be yeah, when the mother do.
Anton, the puppet master, was absolutely doing that. And like I said just a moment ago, that's the same reason why he got into the situation got into now with Charleston White. Running your mouth, thinking you can say whatever you want. Disrespecting people, black men, that went in the NBA and bust their ass to get there, you talking about them niggas ain't nobody? No, sir. You got this twisted. You are not nobody. That's what we're going to get everybody to understand. You puppet mastering weenie eater. Let's continue, though. We're not done yet.
Who's on the shows and nobody, they'd be nobody without you. Nobody. I think I'm been somebody for a long time now.
Shout out Jesse J.
Not
Low.
Whoever
that was what you said with Kwame.
Yeah. The dude, I don't know his name, so obviously he's a nobody.
Now, this is interesting, man. Like Kenyon Martin, who obviously is polarizing himself. I mean, I love Kenyon Martin. These guys are bringing experiences to the podcast that we wouldn't know. And again, I understand what Anton Daniels is trying to say, because without you, those other guys are trash, are no talent. But the reality is that people serve purposes on podcasts. Some people are not supposed to be the main person in the podcast. Some people just fill in. Some people are more mic heavy. Some people, just keep the show going. And like I said, you have a main person, but.
So, Oshay, Sim Jackson, a quick response to what you just said. You don't make no goddamn sense then if you agree with him. How do you agree with him and then turn around and say all of that? That means literally you do not agree with him. It's impossible. That is an oxymoron. You just gave a whole example of reasons, not just one, not just two, not even three. They gave about 4 to 5 examples of why everybody should be different on there. But the very first thing you're gonna lead off with is you kind of understand you don't make no sense. This is why you're a weenie eater, you bootlicker. Exactly the reason. Right there.
Without those
weenie
other
eater.
people on the podcast, it's not interactive. It's not fun. People typically bring up different points. But then in this, I noticed one thing. Nobody remembered Anton Daniels' name.
Woo!
So Kenyon Martin is saying, who's this guy you're talking to? Gilbert Arenas is even acting like he doesn't know Anton. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, nobody knows Anton. Now, Anton Daniels, to his credit, has over 1 million followers. Again, he works very hard.
Anton, to his credit, your weenie eater just recently got over 1 million followers. Now, family, I told you, pay attention to the storyline. Are you kind of understanding where this is going now? Are you? No? Well, then we're going to let the weenie eating bootlicker continue just a little more. And then we're going to talk about where the storyline's not only going, but with this wordsmith, Oshay, Duke Jackson has just done for the puppet master. Oh, yeah, I said it. You'll see. Let's continue with this, though. This is getting diabolical.
And at this point, you would think that you should know somebody like that. But what they're trying to act like is that they don't, because you're trying to act like somebody is a bum who was the National College Player of the Year and an NBA All-Star in their career. Yeah, that is actually crazy. And I get that. But we are talking about different things. Here's what I want to say, though. In the case of what Anton is saying, it's a podcast. A guy like Kenyon Martin ain't looking at it like that. And we do, as YouTubers, have to understand something. What we do on YouTube is not necessarily what is happening in the real world. And whether we like it or not, there are people very much valuable as an insider, very much valuable to everything else without views attached. All right. Like, I know guys like that all the time. Some of the guys who really make things pop, there are guys who make things pop in the industries that don't have YouTube channels. They don't do anything. And to say that somebody like Kenyon Martin and Brandon Jacobs, those dudes are trash, I mean, it's discounting their experience, because none of us have been in the NBA, right? None of us have been in the NBA. And then the platform that Gilbert Arenas has allowed to be there allows them to speak freely. And again, don't get me wrong. Guys in the league or in the NBA are talking about things, or who were in the NBA, are talking about things more freely. But you have to be able to be in the NBA to even understand what freely actually means. For an example, if something comes out about an NBA player, Kenyon Martin, all right, for example, I have to wait until the story drops. Once the story then drops, I have to go and do the research on the story, and then I have to really dig in from actually what happened. But I don't have any real insider access, okay, as to what's really happening. So, you know, I have to research what I can, put the video out. But you have guys who have played in the NBA for 15 years. I mean, guys who are still connected, guys who are doing something. So to call those guys trash is something else. And then for Gilbert Arenas to play Anton like that, as if Anton was a nobody, was also trash. I'm going to say that, like, you're on the podcast with the dude. He comes up, you know, you're sitting there talking to the dude online. All of a sudden, you don't know the guy's name anymore, okay? And then when Anton is checking you about the other guys on the podcast, you're not protecting your guys that's on the podcast, which would make them feel a certain way. And what that tells me is Gilbert Arenas is not a solid guy. He's just not. And you have those dudes like that, they show you every time that you can't trust them and they're not loyal. First of all, if I'm on a podcast with somebody and you tell me, oh yeah, that podcast is only lit because you there, the rest of them dudes is trash. Even if I feel like they trash, hold on, bro. Nah, man, the people on my podcast not trash, bro. I mean, I thank you for appreciating me, but nah, you're not supposed to talk about the people on my podcast because that's not legit. You're supposed to come out and defend your people because they the ones helping you get money every day. Without them people on the podcast every day or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You might not have that same situation going on. And then to flip around and act like you don't know Anton 5 minutes later, like, oh, what's his name? What's his face? Oh, when you get in front of Kenyon Martin, that's high-siding. That's really dusty. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just foul. You know what I mean? Like, it's foul to be.
Well, family, there you go. Did you catch the storyline there, family? Did you understand what was going? Do you really believe that Kenyon Martin or anybody else, family? Really? Think to yourself. What was he doing? What was the purpose of this video? Because I can guarantee you one thing for certain, two things for sure, family. Had they not, I can't say they, because who's to say they all know who the puppet master is? Yes? No? We can definitely agree with that. But the man has a gripe with someone, and now we fundamentally know who his missile is. Who is his missile, family? Oshay Simp Jackson. So just know, from now on, whenever there's an incident, whenever you got something to say or do that the puppet master doesn't like, his bootlicking weenie eater, Oshay Simp Jackson, is going to come to his rescue. Oh, yeah, just like he did in the Charleston White situation. The puppet master and the puppet. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share, most definitely subscribe. Turn your bell notifications on so you know when I'm dropping my next bomb video and when I'm going live. With that said, family, it's your boy, TW. And yes, we are most definitely uncensored. After these messages, but first, don't forget that motto, 9 to 5, that's to make a living. But 5 to 9, that's to make a way of life. If you don't believe anything, you best to believe that. Where was I? Oh, yeah. After these messages, I will be right.
Bang, bang. Stand tall or lose it all, lose it all. So what you wanna do, huh? Stand tall on your feet, or lose it all, lose it all. So what you wanna do, huh? Stand tall on your feet, or lose it all, lose it all. So what you gonna do, huh? Stand tall or lose it all, stand tall or lose it all. For the world, I get to gunning like a gangster move. This ain't no gangster movie, homie. This is real life, one of a kind. I'm not different, I'm a rare breed.